Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at the Rady household where it all starts. And guess what? We have some big news coming from Jeep. It's the all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. That very famous, iconic name is back and it's better than ever. So let's go ahead. If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's dive in and check out what this all-new Grand Wagoneer is all about. All right, here we go. Virtual unveil. Wow. Look at the presence of this SUV simply by the lighting up of the front end. You can see the Wagoneer name, LED lights up. It's not just a bunch of stuck-on emblems. It actually illuminates. The headlights, LED, fog lamps, turn signals, and the taillights out back. Everything is LED lit. If you're looking at that grille, I see the connection. I see the connection to the original Grand Wagoneer. Now, let me give you a little bit of history as we're looking at that iconic 7-slot grille, obsidian black. I'm really digging those vertical slots within each of those 7 openings. Super clean with that Wagoneer name. The name Wagoneer goes all the way back to 1963. At the tail of the business, you see the LED taillights and the name Grand Wagoneer. So Wagoneer first was seen in 1963. The first time we saw a Grand Wagoneer is actually 1984. Now let me give you a little history about the Wagoneer. So when it first appeared in 1963, it was the first 4x4, because they weren't called SUVs back then. First 4x4 to be available with an automatic transmission. That was 63. Now in 73, it was the first to have an automatic 4x4 system. And then, like I said, 1984, we get the namesake of this vehicle, the Grand Wagoneer. It was the first 4x4 to have leather upholstery as standard, air conditioning, and an AM/FM CB radio. Lots of nice touches. Looking at this particular vehicle from the side, very strong, prominent fender flares. Really liking that design. The way the name lights up, I think that's genius. It's gonna obviously allow people to know exactly what it is right away. I'm glad that the stylists and the designers held back on grille size. It seems that vehicles, especially SUVs, the grills are getting bigger and bigger where there's not even a front bumper or fascia, it's just grille. Looks really great here, and I could see that connection to the 1984 Grand Wagoneer. I guess the only zonk that I have right now on the exterior, where's the wood grain? Are they going to bring back the wood grain trim that they originally had on that 1984 Grand Wagoneer? That's going to be interesting to see. Out back, I love the nice boxy look. I'm glad they went in that direction than rounding it off like a jelly bean. Who the heck wants to drive a jelly bean? I don't. This thing, though, looks very purposeful. That rear quarter window, great size. And I'm digging the two-tone paint job. The pearlescent white with the black roof looks super, super classy. And it's meant to be, because guess what? This is a premium SUV. That means it's meant to go up against SUVs like the Cadillac Escalade, the Lincoln Navigator, GMC Yukon Denali, and the Chevrolet Tahoe High Country. And I think that they have basically knocked this one out of the park. It's sitting on 24-inch wheels, brushed aluminum, multi-spoke 24-inch wheels, and the whole chassis is sitting on that Quadra-Lift air suspension system. So it's going to give you a great ride. I like the length of the wheelbase, and this is a full-size SUV. So this is bigger than a Jeep Grand Cherokee. We're talking about, like I said, Escalade, Yukon, and Tahoe size. But boy, oh boy, grille looking great. I like the lower opening down there. Just a little bit of gloss black, nothing too bad around the bottom there. Very, very low roof rails, some chrome trim on the side mirrors. They look like to be a good size. Like the shape of the door openings. Now, the big news on top of everything else is that this is going to have a electrified powertrain system, 4x4 system. So this is going to be a plug-in hybrid. So it's nice to see Jeep moving in more electrification into their lineup, especially as we go through the 21st century. Wait until we get to the interior. That's where you're going to really, really see some things that are going to just blow your mind. Now, one new material that's making a return that you're going to see plenty of in the Jeep Grand Wagoneer is teak wood. And if you go back to the original Grand Wagoneer, you do have a lot of wood finishes there. But driving down the road looks very, very stable, especially the rear of the vehicle with the way that those fender flares are. nicely spot on, and the taillights are, you're not going to confuse those with anything else. And if you are confused, it says Grand Wagoneer across the back, so that's really great. Now here we are to the interior. Fine premium leather everywhere. I hope you like screens. Now, I know when we did our little walk around of the Escalade, we were bragging about like 38-inch screens for the infotainment system. This has 45-inch. So yes, bigger is better, and they've done it with the Grand Wagoneer. So let me break it down for you. You're going to have a 12.3 virtual cockpit for the driver behind the steering wheel. You're going to have a 12.1 horizontal screen for your infotainment. Below that, you're going to have a 10.25 inch screen for your AC controls, and then a first ever in an SUV, a 10.25 inch screen for the passenger. Now, guess what? People in the mid-row are going to be happy as well. You have 30 inches of screen. Everybody's going to be getting a 10.1 inch screen to watch your entertainment as you're taking the family to and from whatever destination you choose to go to. But you have the Uconnect 5 system, which I love the Uconnect 4. I think it's so easy to use, and I've seen the Uconnect 5 in a virtual conference that I had with FCA, and it's spot on the money. You could see that 10.25 inch screen there. It looks like there's some gloss black. I'm curious to see just how much there is. Very, very nice size on the headlights as well. You know, they didn't go too big, and I think that's important because, like I said, so many other brands are going so ginormous on this stuff, but everything is blacked out inside that grille, nice obsidian black. You have those chrome tow hooks down there. I wonder what this power source is going to be and what's the transmission that's going to shift through the power delivery of this plug-in hybrid technology. So that's going to be the big question mark with this overall thing. But you could see with those 24-inch wheels, you actually have 3-piece center caps, which is a very, very classy touch. And 24-inch wheels, I haven't seen 24-inch wheels unless you're going custom or something like that. So crazy, huge diameter. It's going to be interesting to see how they drive down the road, if it's going to be a harsh ride. Grand Wagoneer name, super clean on the side. I feel like they did a great job with the size of what they are putting on the vehicle and the placement. You know, a lot of times it seems of recent memory, they're just sticking emblems wherever they want. It's like they're closing their eyes and throwing an emblem. Those mirrors are great. You have that nice aluminum trim, some obsidian black, the LED turn signals built in, even the American flag. I mean, with this being built in Warren, Michigan, very, very nice setup. I'm thinking there's that glass roof. So you can see clearly that glass roof. I'm thinking there's got to be electric running boards that are going to drop down. That would make no sense to me if they didn't have any type of running board to drop down for you to get in and out. But really, really did a bang-up job making this so unique. The teak wood, even on the part where the roof rail is, it's just a clean appearance. And like I said, going back to the original Grand Wagoneer, having that wood trim, that was the norm. And I think a lot of people are going to want to see that. And I'm very curious what the option lists for this Grand Wagoneer are going to look like. And having all that technology, I mean, it was nice that GMC reworked the system in the Yukon and the Tahoe, but I think they just lost the war here to Jeep with their entry with this Grand Wagoneer. I mean, that interior was absolutely mind-blowing. Price point. They're saying that this is going to be around $100,000 MSRP. Now, obviously, that's going to fluctuate depending on options, but that kind of makes sense because that's where they're putting it. They're putting it towards that Navigator, towards that Escalade, and that's what people are paying for those vehicles. Another thing to think about, what's fascinating, is that if you watch Mecum, if you watch the Barrett-Jackson auction show on TV, the original Wagoneers and Grand Wagoneers, they're really starting to go up in value very, very quickly. And I guess that's another question that I have. Will we ever see this Grand Wagoneer with the Hellcat motor, that 6.2 liter supercharged engine? I was watching Mecum from Kissimmee Well, I was actually at Mecum from Kissimmee, but I was also watching the rest of it on TV the other day, and there was actually a Hell Wagon that went across the block. It was a 1980s Grand Wagoneer. Somebody did a bang-up job on restoring it, but then instead of restoring the original engine, they dropped a Hellcat motor in there, hence the name Hell Wagon. I think it sold for like $115,000. Somebody got something super unique, and it was well built. I remember seeing it at the show. I popped the hood. It was done right. But same thing with this Grand Wagoneer here. I think FCA, Jeep, has done a great job. I guess, like I said, we're going to have to wait to find out exactly what the power source is. We know it's plug-in hybrid, but how many electric motors, what type of power delivery, what type of transmission, those types of things. But really, I'm thinking that they have a home run simply from what we're seeing here. And the great news is, Rady's Rides, we're going to be bringing it to you in October. We're flying out to Texas to do a little bit of work with FCA, especially Jeep, and see this Grand Wagoneer. So I'm so glad that we were able to spend some time tonight looking over this. I know with this pandemic, it is a pain in the butt. We are all going through it together. And I know many of us are at very different levels of what's happening with our families, our jobs, and everything else. But I'm just so glad to be able to share this information with you as I get it from FCA. And don't worry, 2021 is definitely going to be a better year. And we are going to be back at the auto shows to bring you this stuff fresh as I see it in front of me. But if you want to keep seeing these virtual unveils in the meantime, and hey, I'll mix those in as things go back to normal. We'll put them all together. If you want to keep seeing that, leave it in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raise Rise merch. Hey, you guys are great. My wonderful wife is even better. She's awesome. She freaking set up this whole space for us so that you guys could have the best experience. Please show Lori some love in the comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.